Here's a crazy reality check to start us off. The average employee relies on exactly one income stream, while the average millionaire has 7. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unpack the exact architecture of wealth building. Because look, most self-made millionaires didn't start with some massive inheritance. They started by building systems that just quietly run in the background. So we're going to look at exactly how that gap gets built, literally piece by piece, starting from almost nothing.
Let's just dive straight into this massive contrast. When you rely entirely on a single income stream, if that stops, everything stops. But on the flip side, the average millionaire has carefully cultivated 7 distinct streams. It's like they're living in a completely different financial universe, even though they're operating with the exact same 24 hours in a day.
To really wrap our heads around how this happens, let's look at two 24-year-old friends. They were in the same graduating class, started with the exact same $45,000 salary, but they took radically different paths. Person A did everything conventionally right, worked hard, got promoted, and by age 34 was earning a solid $85,000 a year. But it was all from one paycheck, a massive single point of failure.
Then, boom, a sudden company restructuring leads to a layoff. Person A's entire income just vanished in a single afternoon, gone overnight. Meanwhile, Person B took a totally different, slightly slower path. Year 1, they invested just $200 a month. Year 2, bought a small rental duplex. Year 3, started freelancing on weekends. By age 34, Person B wasn't actually working more hours than Person A. They just had 7 streams flowing. So when one stream dried up, the other 6 kept right on going.
Okay, so let's break these down, starting with stream 1, your salary or your earned income. We really need to redefine this one because the average person just treats their paycheck as the final destination, like it's just money meant to be spent.
But people who build serious wealth, they literally weaponize their salary. It becomes the vital seed capital, the fuel to fund all the other 6 income streams. The absolute game-changing habit here is this: you invest first, and then you spend what's left over, not the other way around. And trust me, the habit you build making $40,000 a year scales perfectly when you're making $400,000.
Which brings us to stream 2, the quiet workhorses of a millionaire's portfolio, passive engines. We're talking dividend and index funds. This is money actively invested in the stock market, generating real returns without you having to trade a single hour of physical labor for it.
The math on this engine is just mind-blowing. If you invest just $500 a month into a diversified index fund, assuming about an 8% average annual return for 20 years, you generate a staggering $180,000 in pure compounding growth. That's literally money that made itself just by sitting there and doing its thing over time.
When you map this out over a couple of decades, it's like magic. Your $120,000 in actual out-of-pocket contributions organically grows to roughly $300,000 total. So more than half of your final portfolio is entirely from the invisible force of compounding doing all the heavy lifting for you. If you're a beginner here, the absolute secret sauce is consistent automation. Just set up automatic monthly transfers to low-cost index funds so it happens in the background. You don't even have to think about it. But listen, the biggest mistake people make? Trying to beat the market by chasing hot, risky speculative stocks before they've mastered this incredibly boring yet totally proven approach.
All right, stream 3 is real estate income. Imagine you buy a $220,000 duplex with a 20% down payment. The brilliant mechanism here is that your tenant's rent is what actually covers the mortgage. So essentially, that 15-year loan is being paid off entirely by rent, not by you, all while the property itself is appreciating in value. And you don't have to buy some massive apartment complex to get started. You can start small. Try house hacking, where you live in one unit and rent out the others, or partner up, or even use REITs to invest in real estate through the stock market. Just one rule of thumb: never ever over-leverage yourself without keeping an emergency cash cushion. Vacancies and broken water heaters happen, so be ready for them.
Next up, we are breaking away entirely from trading time for money. We're getting into highly scalable assets, starting with stream 4. Business ownership and equity. Honestly, this is where wealth generation shifts into a completely different gear.
See, an employee trades hours for dollars on a rigid one-to-one basis. But a business owner, they build a system. A business gives you the incredible leverage to finally decouple your time from your earnings. You're running systems that can serve 10 customers or 10,000 customers, generating revenue whether you're working at your desk or literally fast asleep. Now, you absolutely do not need to launch a Silicon Valley tech startup to do this.
Build it on evenings and weekends first as a side project. Test it out with real customers. The most common pitfall I see is people quitting their stable day job way too early. Resist that urge. Have patience during that unglamorous build phase and wait until the business actually proves it can sustain itself.
Moving on to streams 5 and 6, digital property and royalties. The sheer genius of this is building something once and selling it repeatedly over the next 20 years. A digital course built in 3 months can absolutely scale to 5 figures monthly within a couple years. Same goes for royalties on a book or software. And don't make the mistake of waiting until you feel like a recognized expert to start. Package the knowledge you already have, and whatever you do, don't sign away your full rights too cheaply or too early.
Okay, now we reach stream 7. This is the one almost nobody talks about because it doesn't show up on a standard bank statement, but it is the invisible force that makes the previous 6 streams possible. We're talking about human capital. Your skills, your network, your reputation, these things compound exactly like money. A specific skill you deliberately learn at 25 will open massive, lucrative doors for you at 30. A relationship you build at 28 becomes a huge partnership at 33. Treat learning as a non-negotiable monthly investment. The biggest mistake you can make is thinking your financial education and skill building end the day they hand you a diploma.
So, looking at all of this, how in the world do we put these distinct streams together without getting completely overwhelmed? Because, let's be real, trying to launch 7 things at once is just a fast track to burnout. The secret is building a deliberate income architecture.
It all comes down to sequencing. You use stream 1, your salary, to fund stream 2. Then you use both of those to help fund stream 3. You are systematically layering your income, year after year, building a strong architecture instead of just waiting around hoping a single paycheck will magically be enough one day.
And I want you to really remember this quote. You don't need 7 income streams today. You just need one more than you have right now. The gap between where you are and total financial freedom isn't actually as wide as it looks when you realize you don't have to build Rome in a single day. You just have to build the very next pillar.
So based on everything we've explored in this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question. Which specific income stream are you going to start building this year? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, make sure you subscribe because next week we are breaking down exactly how millionaires structure their first $100,000 in investable assets. The blueprint is right there. It's just one stream at a time. See you on the next